this video, I'm going to show you guys how to create a Celsius to Fahrenheit converter. And the first thing we need to do is get input from the user and store it into a Celsius variable. So we're going to create a Celsius variable and set it equal to the input. And what this input function does is it gets user input in the form of a string and stores it in this Celsius variable. What we type in here is what it's going to prompt up on the user screen. And what we need to prompt them for is to enter a temperature in Celsius. So we're going to say enter a temperature in Celsius. Okay. And then from here, we need to convert this Celsius temperature into Fahrenheit and store it into a Fahrenheit variable. And before I even do that, I'm going to write down the formula to do so, to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. It is 9 divided by 5 times C plus 32. So what we're going to do is we're going to say Fahrenheit. We're going to create a Fahrenheit variable and set it equal to 9 divided by 5 times Celsius plus 32. And if you didn't already know, we cannot multiply strings and integers or floats together. And by default, this input method, whatever you type in as input, it stores it as a string into this Celsius variable. So currently this Celsius variable is a string, and this would not work. So what we need to do is actually convert this into a float using the float method. And all a float is a floating point decimal number. It's like 3.6, or if we just wrote in 3 as an integer, it would be 3.0. So now that should work. And then from here, what we need to do is display it to the screen. And we can do this with the print function. And we're actually going to use a format method, and I'll show you how that works after I type it out. But we're going to do double curly brackets, and we're going to say degrees in Fahrenheit is double curly brackets dot format. And then we're going to say Celsius and Fahrenheit. And the way this format method works is it takes the very first argument, and in this case it's Celsius, and it puts it in the place of the very first curly brackets. And then it takes the second argument, which is in this case is Fahrenheit, and stores it in the second curly brackets. So this will say Celsius, but it won't actually store print the word. It'll print what this variable is holding. So whatever the user entered as input, it will store here. Degrees in Fahrenheit is, and then what this will be is this variable, Celsius converted into Fahrenheit. So if we run this and print it out to the screen, it'll say enter a temperature in Celsius. I know 0 degrees Celsius is 32 Fahrenheit. And it says 0 degrees in Fahrenheit is 32. Let's try another one. We'll try 100 Celsius. 100 degrees in Fahrenheit is 212. So that's a quick, simple way to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. If you got any value from this or you learned anything, I would appreciate if you liked, commented, and subscribed.